1, 2, 3. Cocks don't pop at all, poppycock cocks do poppy by four. And that's why all the folks on poppycock keep poppycocks in a jar. But once I met a girl on poppycock back in the poppycock hills, they won't let me back on poppycock, reckon they never will. Well, poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. The earth don't spin at all on poppycock, flatter than a hot roadkill. And beer don't stick to balls on poppycock, reckon it never will. Once I met two folks on poppycock, one bald, the other likes cats. She wild as a rosy, quicker than a satellite, no poppycock about that. Well, poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Take a Trey. Sheep don't like to flock on poppycock, ain't no poppycock pens. You might just find yourself on poppycock, waking with a poppycock kin. And poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Why so freaking early? Poppycock, you and me.
Oh, well, there you go. Little poppycock. Good morning, my friends, fellow friends, poppycockians, truthlings, and the Vibe Tribe, all the usual suspects. Good morning, folks. Thanks for showing up on the alternate channel over here at Unintended Consequences, as Rose is still traveling with Gravy Jesus, that'd be Jason Lindgren, as they're in Florida, documenting Florida Man. No, not really. They're doing a documentary in Florida with the inimitable Dr. Andrew Kaufman. So that will be interesting, and I know that they're excited about that. She'll be back next Thursday, right before Flatoberfest. And if you have not gotten your tickets for Flatoberfest yet, you may want to do it. Going to be a bunch of folks there having a good time meeting each other. We've got a few presenters, and I'll be hanging out with Zach Zabala, Good Times for All, in the chat, as well as Cammie Nodell. You probably know her as Eisling717 among these climbs. Anyway, they'll be in the physics lab doing some hands-on stuff, and I'll be noodling away here and there, making some coffee, giving you your morning methamphetamines. So anyway, make sure and show up for that if you are able. We'd love to see you there. Press the flesh and say howdy. And yes, Stray Clark is in. He's all in. So we're going to be having a little jam session. So that would... that'll be fun. A rumor they moved the general election up a week. I hadn't heard that, but we do have a variety of poppycock available for you this morning. And let's see if I can do this well. We're going to have a special guest this morning, so I'm going to give it a little... There's my intro. A little live intro there. So let's see if we can get our special guest on the phone here. Let's see. I know this is real high tech here. I know. Is it Thursday already? Yeah, no, it is. Hey, do I have the one and only Ceiling Fan Man? Hello. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, Ceiling Fan Man. You are there.
Mostly, yes.
Mostly. I know you're thinking why so freaking early?
Yeah, that was where I was going to start. Like, who came up with this idea? This is like, truth is only good if it's like super early in the morning and no one's hardly awake.
It's got to be fresh. It's got to be fresh truth. The fresh poppycock is the best. You don't want that stuff laying around. It can get, old and stale and...
I guess so.
How are you today, my friend, other than very sleepy?
Oh, well, I do get up around this time, 6 to 6:30, to let chickens out, but you don't have to, like, think of things to say. Like, they don't really talk much, in conversation, so I don't have to come up with things to talk about.
Yeah, they're just those guys are just cluckers, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, waking up this early and trying to come up with witty things to say is very
Well,
it's interesting.
You just be you, my friend, and make sure you get some coffee in you. That Christian crank is always helpful for cures what else.
I'm waiting for the Baldini coffee. One day we'll get that. But
you'll get that.
Hey, how do I have literally about 10 articles and things that I pulled up ready to go this morning, and we're on Skype, so
okay.
That doesn't seem like it'll work for you.
Can you do a share screen? I think I might be able to do it.
Can?
So in the bottom right corner of your connection window, there should be a more, 3 buttons or 3 dots with more, and a share screen. And then once we get that, then I can share that screen. And I think.
Okay. All right, I can work through this.
Okay. All right, so you get that ready, and then I will begin with some poppycockery, and you can comment on it if you like. We can.
Sounds great.
Oh,
good morning, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's awake and glad to see everyone.
Hey, good morning, Karen B. I see you there. We've been talking about you, well, and Flattoberfest, of course. So, and is that maximized as much as you can, CFM?
Let's see.
I think no, I'll make it work. I think I can do that. It'll be.
Can you see it?
I did.
Because I can't. When I do that, I don't see anything when I'm sharing.
Oh, okay. I did see it. So, yeah. All right. You got. Are you on the Google page now?
Yeah. Now I'm on the page.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
If I click here, you see that?
Yep. The truth will set you free. I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
You know, it's funny. My wife talked about that the other day, that sentence, and it's obviously everything comes from the Bible, John 8:3-2. But I never thought about it until she said, that's an interesting saying, because when you look at it, as you learn the truth of the world, you literally get set free from its matrix in a way. Like when we hear all these news stories and stuff, we laugh about them and say, isn't this ridiculous? I mean, you really do get set free.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's no fear in that, right? That's one of the best things about being able to read the news with these new glasses on, is that it's ridiculous. They keep pushing the fear, and there's just no fear in love, right?
Absolutely.
Good stuff. All right. A couple of things, and I hope I don't steal your poppycock, but a couple of things here just going to start out with is recently, I guess over the last 24 hours or so, news report has come out about your friend of mine, Hunter Biden. No, I mean the son of Democratic presidential hopeful and former vice president, Biden, JoJo, where am I, Biden? Let me sniff you. He smells good. Anyway, it's got a little stink around him. Anyway, so his big deal going on here with his son Hunter. Now it's centered around. There's a whole thing that's centered around. Again, if you haven't been keeping up, which I appreciate, if you haven't been keeping up with the WWE wrestling that is the politics world. So if you may have recalled this whole thing about impeach, right? There was an impeachment hearing held last year regarding supposed interference and collusion with Donald Trump, DJT, Cheeto Jesus there, in dealing with Ukraine, and he was trying to pressure them into, giving them some information or whatever. But that information, as it turns out, was he was trying to find out whether there was collusion with Biden and the energy company that his son, a well-known crackhead,
allegedly.
Well, we're going to get a little bit. No, he has admitted to having substance abuse problems and hookers and the whole deal. In fact, impregnated a hooker at one point. It's a crazy deal. Anyway, he was being paid.
I missed that season. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, you missed that season of WWE political wrestling. So it's a crazy thing, and as it turns out. He was being paid, was Hunter, $50,000 a month to sit on the board of a Ukrainian power company, natural gas, basically, having no experience in the corporate world or power or Ukraine or anything. So it's very interesting. Now, it has come out that he sent his laptop in for repair and never came back to pick it up. And the guy who was looking at it, there was what's his name? Beau Biden, who is his late son, who passed away apparently from cancer a couple of years back. Campaign or Beau Biden Foundation sticker on it, so it's assumed that it was Hunter Biden's because it had a lot of his personal information on it, including some photographs. Here's a good one. On the left there, you see him passed out in a bed with a crack pipe. His personal information on it. Whoa. I got some echo there. All right, so here we have this. He's got his crack pipe there, so I guess that would be a literal smoking gun. He's a smoking son, I guess, over here to the right as well. So there's our friend. There's our friend Hunter, as well as some emails specifically outlining his going to use his father's influence to stop the investigation. So really nutty stuff going on there. But now Facebook and Twitter, they say, no, that's not good for the narrative. So despite it being actual, well, real news, they have gone out of their way. They're restricting the dissemination of that news. There's a New York Post story that went into detail about it. And, of course, Daily Beast immediately goes out to smear the computer repair shop guy, man who reportedly gave Hunter Biden's laptop to Rudy Giuliani, which actually he gave it to his attorney prior to this. But he speaks out in bizarre interviews, so they're trying to smear him as being just a nut job.
Well, they're just looking out for our best interests. There's some stories maybe we shouldn't know because it's not good for us. So they're just trying to take care of us like always.
Oh, it's good stuff. Yes. And the fact checkers on Facebook and specifically have labeled some stories categorically untrue that we're actually developing. Just a headline, very few details appeared, and then they labeled it patently untrue. So how would they know if it's literally developing? Pretty interesting stuff there. Hunter, the hunter becomes the hunted, apparently. Also, don't know if you're familiar with this, and in fact, you can get a pretty hilarious take on this. I don't know if you're familiar with the channel Pockets of the Future, but he's got an interesting and often humorous take on stuff going on. He's got
I love when he talks about their ghoul holes.
And Instaghoul, right? Instaghoul. Yeah. So take a look at Pockets of the Future. He's got a often very humorous take on some of these things. So he had he went through a clip of Wolf Blitzer, who is a well-known shill for CNN, and clearly he's part of the intelligence community. Operation Mockingbird, going way back. He made his kind of breakout during the original Iran invasion, all the way back with George Herbert Walker Bush, way back in the day. And so he's been only spirituality can save this world. That is his tagline. As well as the reporting from the first it was reporting from the apocalypse, and now it's reporting from the apocalypse.
Love it.
Yeah. So again. Paul is a really funny guy. So he's got a great clip of Wolf Blitzer giving the third degree. A little bit. He just has some tough questions for Nancy Pelosi, and instead of throwing her the softball questions, and she's stunned. She can't believe.
Yeah, he went off script, maybe. I don't know. He gets really angry with her, and I was like, wow, they're really eating their own like they were going to.
I think, and Paul sort of alludes to it, and it seems very clear to me that someone has decided to now throw Pelosi under the bus. The media is not supporting her as well. Now, this is the first I've seen of overtly kind of going after her, and she seemed legitimately flummoxed by, like, she couldn't believe that he was not giving her the softball treatment and supporting her, and she keeps accusing him of being an apologist for the Republicans, which is preposterous on its face. CNN has never had anything but the worst opprobrium to put on anything right of hard left, so it's clearly not an ideological issue. It is clearly, if it's true, and again, it's really difficult to tell with these things, because it's all a script, right? But if it is true that she did seem sort of genuinely shocked that to see that bus coming at her.
Well, yeah, but then again, she's generally shocked just to see anything. I mean, that one interview where one of the guys asked her a question about is she gonna use all the quivers in her arrows or whatever, all her arrows in her quivers.
And she replied, "Sunday.
She
good
suddenly
morning."
just like NPC'd and went, "Good morning. It's Sunday morning." Like out of nowhere, it's like. Even if you're reading a teleprompter, if it said that, wouldn't you say, "Okay, that sounds weird. I'm not going to say it"? But
she glitched hard. Yeah, that's typically what we would call an MK Ultra glitch. She just went. The lights flashed and flickered, and suddenly something else entirely happened. It was very interesting to watch, and it's not the first time. Of course, we've seen this sort of thing. Everything from news reporters to sports figures, to politicians have done this, where they just either phase out completely or glitch like that and start talking out of nowhere. One of the most famous ones is Al Roker. Glitching out to saying the word Holy Ghost, make room for the Holy Ghost, and he stops and he spends about 2 straight minutes just staring into space with a very flummoxed, like again, as though he's not really there. So it's very interesting stuff.
There's a real famous one. If you haven't seen it, go online. There's one Shaq does for like a couple of minutes. It's fascinating stuff.
It is.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, numerous sports figures during interviews have just completely glitched out. It is remarkable, and it does seem to be connected. I mean, I don't know that I've had conversations with people where they just checked out like that for a couple minutes. That's not something that I've seen. I've seen people check out for 3 or 4 seconds as they just got distracted by something and had some weird thought. But they usually come back with a laugh and go, "Oh, sorry, I went somewhere for a minute."
I'm guilty of that. Squirrel, and what was that? Yeah.
Yes, I do have a bit of the old attention deficit disorder. What? Squirrel? Yeah, okay. But yeah, it's pretty remarkable. So anyway, yes, Nancy Pelosi says here again, this is Washington Post, reporting on how she's now walking a tightrope in stimulus talks. And again, it's if you watch that, I will, just send you over Pockets of the Future. I think he put it up yesterday, this little clip with Wolf Blitzer and Nancy Pelosi. And she cannot answer a single question straight. I mean, he says specifically, why don't, they're offering $1.8 trillion of economic, stimulus or whatever. Whatever. It's all just news stuff, and they invent, print the money out of nowhere. But they're offering this much money, and how come you won't take it, right? And she just can't answer the question straight. She immediately turns the corner and starts, you're pretending that you know more about the suffering of the American people than do I. It's like, what?
Neither one of them know anything about the suffering of the American people.
Yeah, honestly. Other than they're creating it, right? So
right. But the other thing is you got to understand too that they allow whoever they are, the oligarchs, or whatever, to show these things and make us think, because she's number 3 in line. So they want us to make us think that Trump's out of his mind and Biden's basically lost his mind, and now here's number 3 and show her like crazy too, just to keep the fear going on of like, oh my God, no one can run this place.
It is. Again, it's pretty remarkable. And, there have been, it is as big a deal as the online community and the hard left media. And I say, again, it's not really left versus right ideology. This is really a kind of they represent the New World Order. There's just no other way to put it, that the media does that, other than a couple of notable exceptions, again, like Fox News, who simply, they play the Alex Jones, Bill Hicks part, which is to act crazy. And this is exactly what I think that the purpose that Trump has served since his inauguration. Why they put him in there in the first place is to do the whole Q thing, to get people who might be truthers to kind of buy into, just sit on your hands, right? We got this, and when we instantiate martial law, it's good for you. head to those FEMA camps. We'll take good care of you. If you where we go one, we go all, right into that FEMA camp.
Yeah, right. Like lemmings.
Exactly. I mean, it's right there in where we go when we go. Just follow us. Don't stop thinking. Right. We just. Oh my God, it's remarkable. Anyway, he behaves like an idiot and makes so they can easily make fun and discredit any potential truth. So all he has to do is, give a little nod to the idea of a flat Earth, like he did, prior to the election, and they can make fun of it. And vaccines are bad. Anti-vaxxer, anti-science, blah, blah, blah. So they just he becomes sort of the proxy pinata, and they can then use false equivalence to say that he didn't condemn white supremacy enough, so that anybody who supports, well, not even him, anybody who is, again, anything right of very far left is somehow, you're a Nazi, right? You're a white supremacist Nazi. It's just using false equivalency. So it is just ridiculous from its outset.
One of the articles I pulled up, I don't know if you can see it.
I can, yep.
It says famed Navy SEAL pushes back after Trump amplifies the baseless bin Laden conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Where he's basically saying that, they didn't kill Osama bin Laden like we all know. And again, like you say, they put it so he sounds nuts, and they throw QAnon in there and the whole bit.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's see. I should be now presenting. There we go. Just put that up there. So I put up your screen. So you are live now, my friend. So I will pass the baton to you, so you can introduce these goodies.
Oh, I didn't mean to take over, but yeah,
No.
it just kind of fit in with what you were saying. It's pretty interesting that once again they're just going to try to, discredit him and whatever. Where you want me to start? Let's see. I can go. I'll start over here at the first one. Let's see. How about this? CDC study finds overwhelming majority of people getting coronavirus wore masks. Go figure. And of course, they'll bury this story, and no one will believe it either.
Yeah,
but
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So basically, their own study proves that wearing masks do nothing yet again.
Except to make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. And where else we got? Oh, this is a good one, I guess. Woman shot and killed while staging a fake kidnap on TikTok. I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing, but you're staging potentially kidnapping someone. And why would you bring a loaded gun for a fake kidnapping? So
yeah, that seems really really ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I always wonder these things because it's a big TikTok creator, and then why are they showing this? What's the reason behind it? There's more to this to peel apart, but I'll leave that to you and Rose.
Speaking of TikTok, there has been a couple of things that I have noticed recently that, again, they're nothing stories that somehow shoot to the top of the national media. There was one in particular, I noted about Dr. Disrespect or whatever, some Twitch streamer that got banned. And I suppose it might have been news because people who are into that on Twitch, it was kind of a big news there. But why it would continue to show up in the news feed it's been about 3 months that it's been up there. And so, as you mentioned, another TikTok personality who is also an OnlyFans star. She does not safe for work, for paid behaviors, and her name was Pokey something. She had Pokey Sexy or something. I don't know. Anyway, Pokey Princess with an X in there, I think is what it was, and she got sued from Nintendo for using any kind of Pokemon trademark stuff, and very, very weird that would be news at all. And not only has it been news, it's been dominating tech news for 4 days now. Wow. It's just remarkable to me how, and again, I find it very bizarre, and the content of some of these things is really, really strange. As I have mentioned in the last few shows, the repeated thing of embezzlement. And a couple of people noted, maybe it's AI or whatever. I'm like, okay, I can buy that the AI is writing the stories because they're crap stories. Like all journalism is dead. But the fact that they make international news when they're very local stories, very small stuff. Some people, again, these articles are, former daycare person embezzled like $3,500. Why is that an international news story in a little podunk town of nowhere? The way that they're worded, the way they're presented, it does seem to have some sort of embedded thing. Like, again, if you were passing notes back and forth, it's just a way to go, when you see this headline, take a look, and then you probably have some program or something you drop it into, and it it's got EXIF data or something underneath it that you can extract. Something that I can't find, but it is pretty weird, certainly.
And one of the stories, I'm not sure if it's on my screen, I'll look, but one of the ones that I pulled or even sent to you, it partway through, the guy also embezzled, like, does other things and embezzlement. So you're right. It is weird that suddenly that's become a thing. But Rasta Bear sent me this one. That look at that, the first guy that loses his hearing from the Crenani. And look, they even got a picture of him losing his hearing, I guess.
Yes, he's losing his hearing. It's the moment where he goes, God, this sucks. All right.
He's like, what? I can't hear you. Damn it, coronavirus.
It's hilarious. In fact, I'll show this item.
He looks pretty happy for losing his hearing.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty excited about it. The CDC is now saying that there have been now people who have caught it a second time and died from it. So we have the first report of that. But they're now saying, okay, that you can get it and then recover from it, but you're not immune to it, so you can get it again. Well, then how the fuck is the vaccine going to work? It's magic. Oh, my God. And so, yes.
People don't care anymore. Even though they come up with these news stories, they don't care. They're like, okay, I'll keep wearing my mask till you tell me to take it off. Like, what? They just said it doesn't work, and you're going to get it.
Yes, and even when they report that the highest number of new cases are people who have been wearing masks, as well as reporting all sorts of other issues as well, because from issues from wearing a mask. It's like right there in front of you, but they go, but keep wearing it. People are like, okay. It's proof that they've stopped thinking. And so now CDC says seasonal flu cases hit record lows around the world. Well, why would that be?
Well, very few, but there's a few normies that are waking up to some of the nonsense. Not completely, but like we have this one couple, and they finally sent me an article because they were fed up. They're older, and they were upset because during the summer we were told you better stay inside because there are Crenanies outside. You got to stay indoors. And now that winter's coming, they tell us, okay, be careful because the Crenani can live inside more than outside. And she's like, okay, wait a minute. First they told me I couldn't go outside. Now they tell me I shouldn't stay inside. So you have to stay inside during the summer and outside during the winter. She's like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Finally.
It's as though they're trying specifically to get you sick, right? So that you'll be afraid. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, now they have the Twindemic coming out. So Wayne McCroy of Alchemical Tech Revolution, if you have not subbed his channel, you ought to. He just had he put up a video in the last couple of days here because we did not do a Secrets of Saturn stream last night as Jason is traveling. He put up a thing on super spreader events and just how ridiculous that is. Yes, they are now pushing the Twindemic, and they're, of course, recommending flu shots, but then telling you that side effects are totally normal. Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, MG, I just don't even.
And the fact that they give it away free, like in my town even, there's like flu shots, free, come on in, doesn't matter if you have any money or insurance, we'll give it to you anyways. No one goes, something for nothing.
At the local local supermarket, not only will they give it to you for free, they'll give you $20 worth of groceries for getting it.
Great.
They're going to pay you to get this shot. And again, if something is free, keep in mind you are the product. It
blows me away because people will stand in line to get injected with a vial of something. No one knows what's in it. You don't know where it came from. You don't know who made it. A lot of the drugs supposedly come from China, the same people that are supposedly trying to kill us. And yet that's perfectly normal to just say, shoot that inside me. Let's get this going. But if I stood on a street corner with bottles and vials of pills or shots and go, hey, I think I figured a way you won't get sick, they throw me in jail or they run from me. Yeah. But it's perfectly fine if someone in a white coat does it that you don't even know. Well, it's mind-boggling.
It is. I mean, you can't even, you can't even get, heroin or cocaine from your dealer.
Yeah, that really irritated my wife when they were having here in Seattle, the nurses, they'd set up a station where you could go and do your drugs, your heroin, like in front of a nurse. So that way you're safe. And if you OD, they can start CPR.
Get your Narcan going. Yeah,
Narcan.
Sure. Well, I mean, were the nurses actually doing the injections or just watching?
Supposedly, I mean, she didn't do it. She was like fit to be tied hearing about it. But supposedly they would be there for you if you needed assistance.
Well, yeah, because a lot of them do.
see.
especially those using like black tar heroin with a lot of impurities, their veins collapse and become unusable after a while. So they can miss, and that's often what causes people, homeless people who have a drug addiction problem, especially intravenous drugs, to go to the hospital, is they miss, and so instead of shooting it into their veins, they shoot it into the surrounding tissue, and that can cause abscesses and lose limbs. And so I've seen a number of people with lost legs and stuff. They couldn't find a vein, so they would go to their leg, and then it would abscess, and they'd get gangrene and lose their leg. So
I'm not having breakfast.
not
Rose didn't tell me it's going to be like this.
not green gangrenous eggs and ham. That sounds tasty. I'm into that. Okay, your screen is up again, my friend. If you have more,
let's see. There was something where it said Einstein was right again, so they gave us new cartoons about
they do that.
Relativity and black holes and stuff. I thought that, but the reason I had that, it doesn't even show that thing. The article. Oh shoot, I'll look for it. But it basically it said. It says. University Einstein was right again. It says astronomers can now test the limits of relativity and whether new physics lies beyond Einstein's model. Now, the way you read it, it sounds like, the regular sense, but if you take the break in a different place and you say, and whether the new physics lies.
Yes.
Because they just tell you right up front that they're lying, and there's cartoons and animation, and it's garbage. So poppycock.
It is poppycock and garbage.
I think you guys already covered this one. This is like really pathetic. I saw this. DeKess posted this, and I found it on Twitter. This is a social dance in the days of Krenani.
I'm just in shock right now.
I mean, the what we're doing to the youth is just insanity. So, and the funny thing on this, besides the fact that they're dancing back to back, like, oh man, I remember my first dance with her, and we rubbed butts. It's like, how awkward is it that you're dancing with someone and you're staring in the face of someone else's date? I mean, like, what are you making faces? Like, hey, baby, after you're done locking arms with him, you should come lock arms. I mean, what are we doing? They're looking at the wrong person.
I don't even know what to make of all this. I even saw one, and I don't have the link to it right now, but I did see one where they were each person was they kind of had a stuffed dummy dressed up like their date, and so they would dance and sort of 6 feet away from their date with the stuffed dummy dressed like their date. I was just like, what the. What?
It just hurts my brain sometimes looking at this stuff. It really does.
Yeah, and Joe Ray notes in the chat that they've even recommended wearing a mask during sex. Yes, they have.
They even said you should cut a. I'm not kidding. It's I think it was a Canadian government.
Yes, glory hole.
Cut a hole in a wall, and each person stand on either side of the wall.
Yeah, that's the old glory hole. That's good stuff there. Yeah, and they also recommended the reverse cowgirl. So if you don't know what that is, of course, you can look that up.
Let's not do that on air.
Okay.
Hey, did you see the shield pods they're selling?
Let me come back over here for you.
I wish this was a joke.
Oh, my
I
God.
feel like I'm reading the Onion News, but everything's now the Onion News.
Oh, my gosh. What are they charging for this? $679, $80, $100?
Yeah.
The Walking Pod Pro. So you can
There's an actual site. You can look them up. But yeah.
Yeah, so you can show other people. You can virtue signal. And look like a. I mean, how come they don't have wool or on the outside of that? Shouldn't it really be like a sheep costume at this point?
Yeah. Well, they'll put like fancy ears or heads, or make a giant head on here or something.
Yeah.
You're basically a suitcase.
Unbelievable.
And if you scroll down on the comments, this isn't like a joke. They're actually using them. Where is it? I think it was. Oh, here's someone just.
Well, Chick-fil-A has been using them for their drive-thru.
I was going to say it's Chick-fil-A. It's somewhere here. It is down here. There.
Yeah.
That's the real Chick-fil-A picture. And
Yep.
they even color quote them as colored.
Yeah,
coded.
I saw that at the very beginning of this pandemic at Chick-fil-A. There's one around the corner from where I work, and so I don't do fast food very often, but occasionally I stop in there. They got, have a cup of their over-sugared lemonade, a couple of chicken nuggets.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, this is a good one. No one worry about the election because there is, of course, according to NASA, and they never lie to us, right?
Right.
An asteroid is heading to Earth, and it could hit right the day before election. So there we go. We don't have to worry about anything. That'll just take us out, and then doesn't matter who wins.
Well, see, and if it's not that, we've got this of the very high risk of a defunct Russian satellite and a Chinese rocket body going to collide tonight. They've done the math, and.
Love it.
Oh yeah, and they got a cartoon to prove it. Look at that. There's a cartoon.
Well, if there's a cartoon, it has to be true.
That's right. It's got to be true. And and then they have a picture of a guy standing next to a big drum with some what looks like solar panels on it.
Official.
Yes, it looks very, very official. And here's another cartoon. Oh man. Oh dear. Let's see.
Let's see. The other one I had. This one is just. I only brought this one up because, by the way, it always looks the same. If you look at these, it honestly never looks like it's really going into the nose. It's like right behind it. I used to do that trick with kids with like put a quarter behind your ear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I pulled this one up because once you give it just the numbers, there's 9 deaths, 2727, and it's just like, it's so ridiculous. All of this.
It's hilarious, man.
The 7-day positivity rate was 3.3%, of course, so you can just go through it. It's like taggers. They just got to make sure that it's them doing this stuff.
Yeah. It is. They do that. They do that crap all the time. And here's this article again about the COVID patient becomes the first in the world to die after being reinfected. So again, if you consider the premise of a vaccine, which is to give your body a chance to build antibodies to it, so you become immune. What the?
And is that the most awkward way to move someone around? To have your back to the patient?
Yes.
I don't know. That just seems odd to me.
Yes, that's a very, very ridiculous.
Almost looks staged. Huh?
Almost like it was. Yes. So I got here's your today's Florida man.
I got one of those too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. This guy, he's doing cartwheels, and not just on his own. Let's see. I'll show you a little bit of this cartwheeling action here. So he's out doing some cartwheels, and he seems limbering up here. But his cartwheel activity happens to be in front of, this garbage truck. And so the garbage truck couldn't make any progress. So apparently the Popo were called. I'll fast forward here. You don't have to watch all of that. But the Popo were called and decided to try to arrest him. And he says, no, I'm doing those cartwheels.
What the heck? Uh-oh, he's on the loose. Oh, he's still doing cartwheels?
He's doing cartwheels.
That's commitment, man.
Dude, he's going to cartwheel on out of there. That is some classic Florida man today.
I only have this one. That's some guy didn't like a guy reviewing his restaurant poorly, and he went there and killed him, I guess.
What?
Supposedly.
You better
That's
not.
how you shut up a Yelp review. Yeah.
That's right. You better not say anything bad about my braised beef, or I'll serve you on the menu.
Well, I guess he didn't kill him. He just he physically attacked him.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
he struck him several times outside of his house.
All better
so
than.
Don't you ever say anything bad about my restaurant?
Right? Mike Sweeney, I totally get it. Cartwheels have been illegal for a while now. Oh man, this is such good stuff. I don't even know.
How about this one? This is a good one.
What are we looking at?
It is a thing to prove whether or not you're social distancing.
Encouraging you.
Are we supposed to have sound on these or not?
I can hear it. Yeah.
The wearable device that helped this year's London Marathon take place despite restrictions due to COVID-19.
It reminds me of that
Andrew
movie
Nicholson
Logan's
is
Run
the
when their
marketing
thing
manager
flashes,
at
it's time to
Tarsus,
kill you.
Bump
Yeah.
developer.
Bump's a wearable device around your neck, and it makes two signals: blue when you're 2 meters away from another bump wearer, and red and a loud beep when you're 1 meter away.
The device was worn by the 100 elite athletes and 500 race staff to help maintain the biosecure bubble ahead of the marathon.
Biosecure bubble.
Alerting the wearer when
Oh,
they come
man.
within 2 meters of another device. Bump also allowed race organisers to log how often and for how long.
I like how they
elite
say
athletes
race when
and
they show
event
He's
people of
being
color.
healthy. Look at that.
Did you notice how they said race when they, as soon as they cut to people of color, they said the word race?
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that?
Gotta do that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh,
a
my.
predefined distance of each other and will be used to track and trace should someone test positive
thank God,
within
they track
2
and
weeks
trace,
of the
dude.
race.
Well, of course.
The London Marathon's director, Hugh Brasher, believes the technology can go beyond marathons.
I think that this technology can be used in business, really importantly, companies trying to come back to the office. So many conversations going on about how do you ensure someone's safety, health and safety is so important.
Ensure
these days.
someone's safety.
What the heck is a green thing on his head? Does that protect his hair? What is that?
He doesn't have much. And also, how do you really, you're going to now, they're saying that they're going to try to ensure someone's safety. I don't know that you can do that. You can take reasonable measures, right? But ensure someone's safety? Get the fuck out of here.
I just, I'm speechless, and that's hard to do. But oh my God, this is, I mean,
Well,
it's okay. So there's that one.
I gotta say, this whole Crenani thing has been, as we've watched, right? It has gone from everyone in the truth community was immediately suspicious of, of course, everything that comes out in the media, but certainly because the Event 201 had just occurred prior to it. They were playing this out, as they always do. They run these simulations prior to any of these, or during these big events. That's one of the tells, of course, for false flags, as they bring out, certainly on 9/11, they were running an exact simulation event. They were doing the same at Shandy Hook, Handy Shook, as well as
Watch yourself.
right,
Watch yourself.
as Las Vegas, the Colorado movie theater thing. Pretty much all of these that you can find FEMA or some other agency is running a simulation at the same place at the same time, or within a day or two. And in fact, many of them you can find Craigslist ads for actors, tragedy thespians to appear. It's a pretty remarkable thing. So we see this all the time. Well, certainly Event 201 went through these exact things with the exact suspects. We've got funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill and his husband, as well as the World Economic Forum. That's an interesting partner. And Johns Hopkins University. In fact, you can go to the Johns Hopkins University website and still come up with all the information about Event 201, which was held October 2019, just prior to the announcement of all this craziness. And they even sent home a little stuffy of the coronavirus. Yes, that's right. So they introduced the idea of a worldwide pandemic with lockdowns and the whole thing as a tabletop exercise of a novel coronavirus. And then, wonder of wonders, it actually happened, including a number of both sitting U.S. politicians as well as a number of CEOs and other rich and powerful folks selling off stocks just prior to it, the announcement, showing prior knowledge. No investigations really to speak of, which is, again, it's exactly defines insider trading. But no, nothing there. And so all of us in this community have been, since the outset, very suspicious and labeling it not only a hoax. I mean, there might be some kind of pathogen, but it's certainly not what they're describing at all. And then as we go along, we can see that they fudged the numbers. They've reported anybody with they got a test, a PCR test that's by its people who created it say don't use it to diagnose anything. It's simply an evaluation tool for the lab. But no, they use that up to 80% or more false positives. And they still can't get their numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. So they just keep fabricating things. And then no evidence that anybody has died by themselves, with that being the only thing. Even the CDC says themselves that less than 4%, and all those people were over 80 years old. So otherwise, it was at least 2.6 comorbidities shown. Again, their response to that, well, pretty much, everybody's got chronic conditions. So everybody's got one foot on a banana peel and the other foot in a grave. So that's their excuse. So they keep, showing this stuff. And so now, even as you said earlier, even the wool-wearing public, the normies, are getting hip to the idea that something is wrong. So what do? Amp it up. So now we got the second wave coming out, right? The twindemic. This is the New York Times email that I get from them, the surging virus. And note how when they were running out of steam, they had to pump up those numbers. And what did they do there? They just introduced more testing. And again, most of the people have been wearing masks because those are the ones who are going to get tested. Those who don't wear the mask generally don't want to get tested. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Even, of course, even Cheeto Jesus, the sitting president of the United States, apparently got the crononi, as did his family. And a couple of days later, he was back. Fit as a fiddle. Good as new. So
now they're using that, like you said, super spreaders. They like all these little terms they're trying to make go viral. You got that. You got the long haulers. Those are the people that have it and never get rid of it. And yeah, they love all these little stupid terms to try to make them hit.
And it's the only thing that we know of in history where you can be asymptomatic and still spread. Of course, that was proven untrue. It came from one study in Germany early on, and then was later proven to be false. She did have symptoms, and according to what they say. So, but still, we've got one now falsified report coming out of Germany, out of all the things that say there is asymptomatic spread. So that's the new norm, and that's what they keep wanting us to say, the new normal. But that's how they do it. And they just keep lying to you over and over. What this seems to do, again, from my observation, is this continues to add energy to the polarization process to push those who are going to awaken to awake, become awake, and those who are asleep to become further asleep and fight back against anybody. They are the crabs in the bucket trying to pull back in anyone who wants to escape. Your thoughts on that, Mr. Ceiling Fan Man?
Oh, the fact that they say when you get people to a type of mind control or whatever where they're programmed, any new amount of new information won't change their mind. And I just obviously it won't happen, but someone to go in front of one of these big political people and say, hey, you're telling us that this is, the Christianity does this, that, and the other. Where are all the people that supposedly fall on the ground in convulsions and blood comes out of their mouths and stuff like that was supposedly happening in China?
Yeah, we got images of that early on. Yep.
That's all gone. Let's not talk about that. It's like someone should just say, "Hey, poppycock." I mean, come on.
They don't. They're just not gonna, right? I mean, this is the thing is, and moreover, those who in the cognitive dissonance world, when presented information that doesn't line up with the narrative, they simply ignore it. As exactly the first thing that I started with this morning, right, is that Facebook and Twitter are now limiting the news on Hunter Biden. Oh, it doesn't fit the narrative. So despite the fact that it's absolutely true, they limit its reach. They call it poppycock. They, quote, debunk it. They try to call the guy crazy. It just doesn't fit their narrative. So it is just those people who are under the spell. They fight to keep under the spell. Don't you dare try to wake me up. It's unthinkable. And that is the right word. It is unthinkable. They cannot think about it. They cannot be bothered even to think about it. And I've seen this over and over with, people out on the street, the mask holes. If you try to present them any information that says, hey, you don't have to be afraid, right? There's nothing to be afraid of. They get mad. They don't want to be free of it. They want to be afraid. It's this virtue signaling of victimization. That the bigger victim you are, the more attention you get, and the more compassion or whatever. It is a way to get acceptance. So if you don't follow along, you're not going to fit in, and we're going to kick you off and under the bus if you don't do everything we say. And that includes accepting all kinds of just bizarre stuff. I could identify as anything I want. I identify as a invisible three-toed magic gnome, and if you say you can see me, that's hate speech.
Nah, I like it. I got one last thing.
I got it up.
Take over, I guess.
I got it up.
Where is it? Did you see this?
Oh, nice.
There's a lawsuit to aim because I guess most black people, according to this article, smoke menthols, and so
it's not entirely untrue.
Well, I know, but I think it's just funny. It's like, so now we're going to sue the cigarette company, not because they're giving us poison to smoke, but because they're giving specific menthol flavor, and they're targeting killing black people.
Doesn't this strike you though as again more of a again back to that article when they said race and they were talking about sports, but the moment they said race, they brought in two looked like actually African guys, like runners. So they're pushing this idea, and they have been through BLM and other methods that they've been showing this in the media for quite a while, pushing the idea of again bad race relations. They're inciting it, and this seems to be like another effort simply to do that. Everyone knows that smoking cigarettes made by these guys is harmful. I think if you do some study, actually, tobacco itself isn't necessarily, that bad. In fact, it has some beneficial qualities, even, smoking it from time to time, as did the Native Americans. But we're talking about, the stuff that grows from the ground and is not injected with all kinds of crazy chemicals like saltpeter.
I can actually add to that because I've been doing some research on this. And the actual, as far as cancer and stuff coming from cigarettes, it started when they did the packaging and they put them in these tubes. It's the paper, it's the filter. That's where all the chemicals lie. Probably some of the tobacco now because it's, the big pharma or whatever. But if you actually take regular tobacco and you just put it like in a pipe or something, no, you're not getting, at least theoretically, I'm not a doctor or anything, but this is what the studies that I've seen. And the Native Americans even would smoke another plant that I've been touting forever on my channel, mullein. It has a lot of healing properties that they say actually remove some of the negative effects to regular cigarette smoke. And so they used to smoke that after they would smoke other things to try to help clear their lungs.
Sure.
So the cancer and all that stuff comes from the companies putting whatever it is in this stuff. But anyways.
Then it's something, I've studied. Once I found out that I had a big old chunk of Native American DNA, mostly Cherokee, and that they were, in fact, quite different from many of the other Native American tribes, and weirdly seemed. If you were going to make a pitch for somebody being lost tribes of Israel, man, they certainly do have a lot of interesting connections there. If you're interested in a weird study, go look that up. But yeah, I started kind of looking into that, and their use of tobacco was very different than our current use. And of course, I have smoked for a long time. I've successfully quit several times, but always have slipped back into it. I'm addicted to it, so I can't really touch it once I quit again. But I have enjoyed a pipe before, and certainly I have no morality issues about things that you from the natural world that you can ingest. It seems that they have made those things again verboten for specific reasons, and that is because many of them will actually open your eyes to seeing the world in a different way, and we can't have that now, can you?
No.
If it violates any of the laws of hypermaterialism, we certainly can't do any of that.
We have one that can see. Yes,
exactly. We're going to go over that. So we have, of course, semantics, the grandiloquents for today. A couple of them. We have asemus, a feigned refusal of something desired. No, don't throw me in the briar patch. as I often say, if faced with the idea of taking, the mark of the beast, or at this point even a vaccine, I'll be, don't that or death. Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. I mean, really, seriously. I found this one interesting. The one from yesterday, apocryphal. I thought everybody knew that. Knew that word, but the way they use it in the first one, pertaining to a widely circulated story that's probably not true, that's kind of not the right. Apocryphal, it really has to do with things, again, being out of its context, right? Belonging to the Apocrypha. It's outside of the original context. It's very, very weird, right? But I really did like this one. Festinate, to hurry, hasten, hurriedly, in a rushed fashion. So I am going to fascinate as I perambulate. So we got that going for us, which is nice. So let's see. Oh, I was going to show. Where is this? Did I lose it? Where did I? Oh goodness! I can't believe I would have dropped that.
Did you get that article I sent you that I didn't quite understand?
I got it, but I didn't save it, unfortunately. And I had another one here that I wanted to bring up. There.
Well, the thing is I'm still having trouble understanding what they're saying. It says that what does it mean if a vaccine is successful? And they say that they could end up. Pfizer says they could end up with a vaccine as soon as the end of October, and they say that it'll be successful in their trial, involving perhaps as many as 44,000, which, perhaps they don't even know how many they're going to have. And then it says if 32 of them get mild C-19 symptoms in a positive test, and if 26 of them got a placebo instead of the vaccine, then that potentially is, according to the guidelines of the FDA, an effective vaccine. None of that made sense to me.
Well, I was looking in our chat to see where it was, but you actually texted that to me, right?
I can pull it up, but the problem is it won't let me see it unless I agree to their terms and I don't consent.
Right. Yeah, I don't do that. Homie, don't play that.
How do I get back to that screen where I was sharing?
So I
don't see that.
I have the official.
Share screen. Here you go.
Okay, because I had the official. Did I close that screen? No, I haven't. Okay, so there's that. I had the official Rose 777 Normie News Map.
I love that.
Yeah, so have that up. Give me just a second to make your screen a little bit bigger before I switch back over here. So that should do that. What does it mean if a vaccine is successful? Oh, I see. They've got their little blocker up there.
Yeah, but you can still see the article underneath it.
And where's that from? Where would we find that link?
GQ.
Oh, a GQ magazine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have a closer look at that today, and we can perhaps discuss that further. Here's the Normie News Map. Again, we've got the CDC out of Maine. So CDC has a lot of stuff going. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. No, I got that one. Nope, that one. Okay, so back in the right spot here. So yeah, a lot of Cranani news all over the place. They're really giving that a lot of stuff, a lot of headlines, even in technology. So you go to the technology sector and you still get an enormous amount of. They just keep pushing. They just keep pushing the Cranani. So I go to World News. Still, we've got Cranani. They're just not letting go of that. National News. They move it over a little bit, but now we've got.
You honestly can't look up anything on the internet without having an article about it or something.
That's
somewhere.
Correct. Yep. That is correct. So, yeah, they really are pushing this second wave twindemic idea, making a big stinking deal about it. So, I guess I gotta say, the way that they're doing it and the way that people are responding to it, it does appear again that we are unlikely to get the world that we had prior to this, anything close to back. The pressure that they've put on and the way that they've simply openly flouted the laws Even the CDC now is, or even rather the WHO, the World Health Organization, which is a puppet of the New World Order, as are all things United Nations, is now saying lockdowns not helpful, don't work. It creates a bunch of mental health issues and all that sort of stuff. Even with that, they continue to do it. In fact, just in the last week, we've seen an immense effort in the UK, especially at London, in terms of more lockdowns and more restrictive measures on freedom, no gatherings whatsoever, really putting the pressure on it. So again, if you look at it with any sort of any sense of critical thinking, you can see that makes little sense, other than to keep people from congregating because they don't want you talking. They're covering your mouth. Shut up. They're keeping you away from each other. Don't even look at each other. Don't make eye contact. Literally, that is one of the recommendations. Don't make eye contact, which is what you showed in the dance, dancing back to back. Don't make eye contact. Don't get close enough where you might look at somebody and give them the nod and say, "Yeah, this is bullshit." They don't want you. Again, you are powerful. You have the power, not them. And most people now, at least from what I observe, it's different a little bit place to place. But in the larger sense, most people who are complying are doing so from fear of government, not the fear of the cranny at this point. They fear you. And again, perfect love casts out fear. If you operate from a place of love and not from fear, you cannot be so easily controlled, and it throws a monkey wrench into their plans and their actions, and you literally change the world around you. So always my encouragement to operate from a place of love and compassion, as well as good discernment and intellect. I saw someone on Facebook today say that they tried to advise somebody who claims to be woke about a thing, and they said, "No, I haven't looked into it. I use discernment." Wait, what? You keep using that word. I don't think it means what do you think it means.
Yeah, what is that? That's that line. I don't think you know what this word means. Yeah, I love it.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means, because you cannot use discernment if you refuse to look into something. I mean, isn't that what happened to pretty much everybody with Flat Earth? You go, I don't want to look into that. And as soon as you do, and you're like, oh shit, what have I done?
That was the funniest thing I've talked about before. It's like when I was starting to watch YouTube videos and try to decipher the world, and my wife and I, thank the Lord, we were experiencing it together. And I'd be like, hey, hon, I think the lizard people run the England. She's okay, send me the video. It's like we were just like, okay, what do you got? I'll listen to it. And then I woke up early one morning and I listened to this woman I'd never heard of before, Karen B.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know it was her video because she's barely in it. And I watched her Flat Earth video just because I was like, what is with these retards that keep sending me these Flat Earth video suggestions?
Right.
And I finally just said, like everyone else, let me just watch it and see how stupid they are.
Exactly.
And I started sitting on the couch while I was watching. I ended up sitting on the floor, breathless, going, oh, my God. And when my wife woke up and she come walking out, I looked like I'd seen a ghost. She says, what's up? And I felt like I could tell her anything at this point. But I looked at her and I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this, honey, but I think we live on a flat earth. and I could just see her. It was so nice. She was trying to be nice and smile, but I could just see, oh, my God, he's done it. He's lost it. Like, she couldn't. She's like, okay, fine, send me the video, you dummy, Yeah. And then within an hour, we were both sitting on the floor going, what the fuck? What's going on?
What is happening? What's happening right now? Yeah. I didn't sleep well for 2 weeks because especially the first 4 days or so, I was just. I've
had that experience in my life like several times. The first one was the Mandela effect. The 3 days of trying to figure that one out. And then, of course, Flat Earth. And then Brian comes along with his 9/11 video that are we allowed to say that number, whatever. We came along with that. And that teaches you not just what happened on that day. It teaches you all media is fake. Mm-hmm. Like everything you see is fake. And that's still a hard thing to process. Well, it's like, is that fake? Nope, that's fake too. That's fake too.
I told Russian Vids that when I first saw his channel, I thought this guy has lost it, man. He's way out there. This guy's nuts. And then didn't take very long, and I went, oh shit, he's mostly right.
Yeah, that's happened to me before. Somebody I saw before I was ready, and I'm like, oh, that person's crazy. Next, and then next thing you know, you're like subscribed and following them.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, wow. And I've adopted some of his phrases. Truth in the news, the truth in the movies, lies in the news. Couldn't be more spot on with that. He's not wrong about that, right? He's one of those guys that certainly tells you what he thinks, and he goes all in on everything, swings for the fences all the time. So occasionally you can swing and a miss, and that's fine. But again, I love his passion for it, and he's been way in front of the curve on a lot of stuff and taken a lot of heat because people said, just like me, said, yeah, you're nuts, and But if you don't,
and that's the other thing that's maddening. It's like trying to explain to someone. The reason, I know there's some people that are making a living off of YouTube. I don't know how that's possible, but if you can,
well, make a video, make a channel just making fun of flat earthers. You'll do well.
Yeah, right. But most of us, at least like for me, for instance, I could talk about me. I just felt compelled. If I know something, I want to tell as many people around me what's going on. Like I think it was you were saying, or someone was like, your house is on fire. If your house is on fire, I'm going to say, hey, your house is on fire. Now, you could be standing at the window and not realizing that, the roof's on fire and yell at me, shut up, go away. It's not on fire in my room. But I'm going to keep yelling that your house is on fire, even if you tell me I'm an idiot, because I feel compelled to. And that's kind of what I do with my channel. It's like, I need to get these thoughts out because I think I've found some information, and I'm not just going to miser it and keep it to myself, because that's what the elite mean people do,
right. Holding it for themselves. Yeah, but you also find whether whatever the truth is, that people often again don't want to hear it. That's the last thing they want, and they really can't. They can't be dragged into it. They must come to it on their own with pretty much all of these things. They have to be woken up slowly.
And that's what I found out just recently, that it's not our job to go around and wake people up. You can't wake someone up if they don't want to, because also maybe they're not allowed. I put it all spiritually. God allowed us to wake up. I don't know why, but he must see something in each one of us that allows us to be awake to see what's going on. We have some purpose to fulfill, but the people that can't, he's not allowing it. Maybe they're not ready for it. It could destroy them. Who knows? It's not for us to judge that. So what we do, we put out our content, and whoever has eyes to see and ears to hear, they'll find us. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, now I understand what's going on. And that's all I see it as.
That's exactly what's happened to my channel in the Sunday streams. Is I just kind of give those to Dad and go, you do with that what you want, and I'll show up every week, and we'll see where that goes, right? So I love that it's a small, tight, close-knit community. Those who are interested can come, and if you're not, that's cool too, man. I don't want to argue or fight with anybody about it. It's not my intention at all, right? It's simply just to share part of my journey and to encourage people to have their own relationship with the Creator and avoid all this religious or even anti-religious religion.
and when I first started doing this, and I was getting my first trolls, and it was like affecting my day and thinking about it all. And then it's funny, if you stop feeding a troll, it goes away. Now they're still out there, but I don't care. And it's a thing that actually you said, one of your Baldini quotes that I love, and it was, I'd have to value your opinion in order for it to affect me.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like, I just move on. I'm going to just be me. If you don't like it, usually I would think you change the channel, but nowadays you yell at the TV, I guess, right?
That's what they do.
You go on there and you keyboard strike a bunch of things and say a bunch of mean things and baseless things, which is really funny because a lot of us believe we're in the apocalypse. And if we're truly in the apocalypse, which I truly believe we're well-footed into it at this point, not that you should lie anytime, but damn it, the fact that you're doing false witness and lying now, good luck with that.
Right. And yeah, I think I was telling the caller on Tuesday that I had talked to one of the friends in Finland, and he was saying that there was some Christian, apparently, self-proclaimed Christian pastor or something over there in Finland who was making a big stink about that the idea of having a relationship with your Creator outside of the religion of Christianity is heresy. That you are unqualified, and it is false doctrine to teach that you can have a direct relationship with your Creator. I'm like, what the what? Have you even read the Bible? I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, but yeah, again, I don't even say you have to go through the Bible to get to you. Just ask the Creator. Just talk to Dad. He'll tell you what's what, right? Yeah,
I look at the Bible as a guidebook, like that movie Beetlejuice, where they give you the Book of the Dead.
Right.
Like the Bible can actually help you navigate through these waters. But you don't need it. There's plenty of people that have found God that never touched the Bible.
Absolutely.
And if you need to, just ask. He'll be there. It says so in the book. And if you eventually once you find your spiritual connection, then you can talk to God and ask him about these things, and he answers you. It's freaking trippy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a remarkable journey for me to discover who the Creator is, and very different than what I had been taught or even imagined on my own. As an intellectual pursuit, trying to figure that part out, it can lead you in all sorts of places. It can never be any bigger than your imagination. And that's simply the way that it goes. And it's the same is true with apotheosis, that if you are God, the world can never really be any bigger than you. That seems pretty lame. I mean, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool and all that, but...
And we've talked about this before privately. I wouldn't want the powers of God. I'd be smiting people all over the place.
That's what I've said for forever. There would be much smiting going on, and so I would be very, very bad at being a deity. Well, we've certainly gone a little bit past the top of the hour. So again, Ceiling Fan Man, thank you so very much for joining me this morning and having the temerity to do so and get up early, have your cup of coffee, and hang out and discuss the poppycock with me.
I hope I added something to it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you asking me, and thank you.
Absolutely. I loved having you here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you both within the context of doing these programs as well as just the chats that we have in our personal lives. Love getting to know you better, Mr. CFM, and I can't wait to come out and make you some coffee. I know we're not too far away, but it's over the water, man.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that coffee. So yeah.
No, I have made promises, and I will keep my promises. I'm sometimes, the bald guy is not slack concerning his promises. He will come through. I keep telling my wife, I said, if a man says he's going to do something, he will do it. He will keep his promise. You don't have to bug him every 6 months.
Love it.
He'll do it.
Hey, well, if this worked out and everyone was entertained, I was asked again for another one, and if you want me back, I'll come back.
I would love to have you back.
I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. I do have another special guest scheduled for Tuesday. The lovely and talented Karen B. is going to join me on Tuesday morning as Rose is continuing her travels. And then Rose will be back on Thursday for more Poppycock, and that will be back on her channel, Rose 777 2.0, I think, until her strikes run out. So CFM, I'm going to let you go now. I'll call you back in just a minute and give you some personal thanks. So thanks again. And do you have any parting words you want to?
All I would say is, everyone, just try to stay away from being fearful. Find your Creator if you haven't, and also find local people. This is a wonderful community. I get so much from it. It really charges and recharges my batteries and helps me get through this. But you also need to meet people on a local level. Now, a lot of people are going to Flattoberfest, which is wonderful, but also find people in your community. And they're easy to spot right now because they're barefaced. They're not wearing masks.
Yeah, exactly.
Approach them, talk to them. They might not think like you do, but you might find someone that thinks similar and maybe can help, because we need people to support us, to help us navigate through this. Because when you're all alone and you're trying to deal with this, and all you see in the news and everywhere coming at you is nonsense and poppycock and masks, it can be overwhelming. And so I'm glad we're here for those people in this community, but also find somebody that when the YouTube channels are turned off or the internet's off or the power's off, you can still talk to someone and not feel like you're losing your mind.
Absolutely.
So that's all I have to say.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Love you all. thank you for your support. I love you.
Hey, thank you. And we love you, CFM, and love what you contribute and bring to the community. I love your sense of humor. It is very much like mine. And again, I owe you a cup of coffee. So I'll join you again in just a moment and say howdy. And then for the rest of you folks, again, don't forget to join us next Tuesday. It'll be back here with Karen B for more CockyPop. And we'll do that until next Thursday when Rose 777 will join us again with all of her firsthand Florida Man reports, I'm sure. Of course, I'll be back on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That is noon Eastern for more unintended consequences. And then back on Sunday morning, again, as usual, 7 a.m. Pacific. And then for Ancient Wisdom for Modern World. And then coming up at 5 p.m., again, Pacific time, that's 8 p.m. Eastern, is Sola Scriptura. That'll be a 0.5 episode, and we'll take a look at some interesting goodies there. So thanks again for joining us. I'm so glad to see you guys. Don't forget to leave a comment if you like. I love the comments saying, you should do the show this way. It's like, oh, well, maybe you should do a show. All right. Pretty exciting. Anyway, thanks again, guys. So glad that you're here, and we hope to see you next time. Take care.
2, 3. Cocks don't poppy, oh, poppycock, cocks do poppy by 4. And that's why all the folks on poppycock keep poppycocks in a jar. But once I met a girl on poppycock back in the poppycock hills, they won't let me back on poppycock, reckon they never will. Well, poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. The earth don't spin at all on poppycock, flatter than a hot roadkill. And beer don't stick to balls on poppycock, reckon it never will. Once I met two folks on poppycock, one bald, the other likes cats. She wild as a rosy, quicker than a satellite, no poppycock about that. Well, poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Take a trade. To flock on poppycock, ain't no poppycock pins. You might just find yourself on poppycock, waking with a poppycock kin. And poppycock, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old poppycock, poppycock, you and me, Rose and Baldini. Why so freaking early? Poppycock, you and me.